When it comes to relationships, one of the most misunderstood yet powerful tools you can ever use is silence. Silence, when used correctly, speaks louder than words. It communicates confidence, strength, and self-control without you having to say a single thing. After a breakup or a situation where a woman has lost interest, most men feel an overwhelming urge to fix things by talking, explaining, or convincing her to come back. They send long texts, make countless calls, pour out their emotions, and in the process, they push her even further away.
Yeah.
Why does this happen? Because when you chase, you're subconsciously telling her, my life revolves around you. My happiness depends on you. Without you, I am lost. And while you might think this shows love and commitment, what it really does is lower your value in her eyes. Humans are wired to desire what feels scarce and valuable. When something is always available and easy to access, it loses its appeal. The more you show up uninvited and keep trying to prove yourself, the more you make her feel like she has total control over the dynamic, and there's no mystery, no challenge, no excitement in that. This is why the no contact rule is so effective. No contact isn't about punishing her, being petty, or playing games. It's about creating space. It's about giving both of you room to breathe and allowing her to experience what life feels like without you. Most men don't realize this. But when you're constantly present, texting her, checking in, or even just reacting to her social media, she never truly has the chance to miss you. She never gets to sit with the absence of your presence because you never allow that absence to exist. Think about it like this. Imagine your favorite song playing on repeat every single day. At first, you love it, you sing along, and it brings you joy. But if you hear it non-stop day after day, hour after hour, eventually you get tired of it. You stop noticing it. It fades into the background. Now, imagine not hearing that song for weeks. Suddenly, when it plays again, you appreciate it more than ever. That's how silence works in relationships. Your absence creates a void, and that void makes her realize what she had and what she stands to lose. The first stage of no contact is difficult, especially for men who feel like they're losing. Her, the silence feels unbearable. You wonder what she's thinking, who she's with, whether she's moved on. This anxiety drives many men to break no contact prematurely, which ruins the entire process. You must understand that silence is your ally, not your enemy. Every day you stay silent, you're rebuilding your position of strength. You're showing through your actions that you are not desperate, you are not needy, and you respect yourself enough to walk away from someone who isn't choosing you right now. But here's the deeper magic of silence. It forces her to confront her own feelings. As long as you're chasing, she never has to reflect on her behavior or question her decisions. She can comfortably ignore you, knowing you'll always be there waiting. The moment you go completely silent, that comfort disappears. Suddenly, she's left alone with her thoughts. She starts to wonder, why hasn't he reached out? Is he moving on? Does he even care anymore? This uncertainty plants seeds of doubt and curiosity, and over time, those seeds grow into desire. Silence also changes the power dynamic. At the start of no contact, she likely feels in control. She might assume you'll always be available, ready to come running the moment she snaps her fingers. But as the days and weeks pass without a word from you, that certainty begins to crumble. She starts to realize she might actually lose you, and this triggers her natural instinct to chase what she fears losing. To truly harness the power of silence, you must remain disciplined. This means no calls, no texts, no likes, no comments, no accidental encounters. It's complete withdrawal of your energy and attention. Remember, every time you break the silence, you reset the clock and diminish its effect. Your silence has to be absolute so that she feels the full weight of your absence. When done correctly, silence doesn't just make her miss you, it makes her reevaluate everything. She starts remembering the good moments you shared, the laughter, the connection, and the support you provided. The human mind has a funny way of romanticizing the past when it's gone. And when she realizes she can no longer access your presence so easily, her desire to have it back intensifies. Silence is powerful because it shifts the narrative. Instead of you chasing her, she begins chasing you, not out of pity or guilt, because the absence you've created has reminded her of your value. She sees you as a man who has options, a man who can walk away, and a man who knows his worth. That's when the real chase begins. The no contact period isn't just about making her miss you, it's about transforming yourself. Most men see no contact as a waiting game, like they're sitting in the dark counting the days until she finally reaches out. They're still obsessively checking her social media, thinking about what she's doing and imagining every possible scenario in their head. While physically silent, they remain mentally consumed by her. And when you're mentally consumed by someone, you haven't truly created space for growth. If you want her to chase you after no contact, the key isn't just silence, it's what you do with that silence. This time apart is an opportunity to build your self-worth so deeply that you naturally become the type of man she wants to pursue. Think of it like this: when a building has cracks in its foundation, you don't just decorate the outside and hope no one notices. You tear it down, repair it, and rebuild it stronger than ever. And that's exactly what this phase is about: rebuilding yourself from the inside out. Let's start with a fundamental truth. People are drawn to those who value themselves. If you don't truly believe in your own worth, no one else will. A woman can feel when a man's self-esteem is low, even if he tries to hide it. It shows up in his behavior, the over-texting, the over-explaining, the fear of losing her, the way he tolerates disrespect or neglect just to keep her around. These actions scream, "I don't think I'm enough, so I need you to validate me." During the break, you must shift that narrative. Instead of using this time to obsess over her, use it to invest in yourself. Start by taking an honest look at your life. Are there areas you've been neglecting? Maybe your physical health has taken a back seat. Maybe you've been coasting at work, stuck in a job that doesn't inspire you. Maybe your social circle has shrunk because you've been spending all your energy on her. These are the very areas where your self-worth begins to crumble. Now is the time to reclaim your identity outside of the relationship. Join the gym, not to impress her, but to feel strong and confident in your own skin. Upgrade your wardrobe, not for her approval, but because you deserve to look and feel your best. Dive into your passions, whether it's learning a skill, starting a side business, or traveling to places you've always wanted to see. The more you pour into yourself, the more you naturally radiate value. This transformation doesn't just happen on the surface, it must also happen internally. Spend time reflecting on the relationship and your role in it. Were there patterns of neediness, jealousy, or fear that pushed her away? Were there moments you sacrificed your boundaries just to keep the peace? Use this period to heal and grow emotionally, so when she does come back, you aren't repeating the same mistakes. One powerful tool for internal growth is mindset work. Read books, listen to podcasts, or seek guidance from mentors who help you strengthen your emotional resilience. Journal your thoughts daily to gain clarity on who you are and what you want. Practice gratitude, not just for what you have, but for who you're becoming. This mental and emotional transformation is what separates a man who merely waits for her return from a man who evolves into someone she can't help but be drawn to. Here's the thing: when she sees you after no contact, she should notice a different energy, not just a new haircut or a couple of gym gains, but a fundamental shift in how you carry yourself. She should sense that you're no longer the man who begged, chased, or clung to her. Instead, you've become a man who chooses himself first. Women are instinctively drawn to men who embody growth and progress. When she sees you thriving without her, it creates two powerful emotions: curiosity and desire. Curiosity makes her wonder, what has he been up to? How did he change so much without me? Desire makes her want to re-enter your world, not because you begged her to, but because she feels she might miss out on something extraordinary. But here's the most important part. Building self-worth during the break isn't just about getting her back. It's about becoming so fulfilled and complete on your own that you realize you'll be okay whether she comes back or not. That's real power. That's what makes you magnetic. When a man exudes the energy of, I want you, but I don't need you, he becomes irresistible. This internal shift flips the entire dynamic. You stop being the one who is waiting and hoping, and you become the one who is living and thriving. And when she sees that you've not only survived without her, but leveled up in every area of your life, she will start to question her decision to walk away. That's when the chase begins, not because you forced it, but because you became the kind of man who doesn't chase at all. One of the most powerful psychological forces that drive human behavior is the principle of scarcity. We naturally desire what feels rare, hard to get, and valuable. This isn't just about relationships, it's about everything in life. Whether it's a limited edition product, a high status opportunity, or even attention from someone we admire, the less accessible something is, the more we want it. Now, when it comes to relationships, most men unknowingly destroy their perceived value because they make themselves too available, too predictable, too easy to access. They think that by constantly showing up, by always answering her calls immediately, by liking every post she makes, and by never saying no, they're proving their love and commitment. In reality, what they're doing is devaluing themselves in her eyes. When you are everywhere at all times, she no longer has to work for your attention, and what is freely given is rarely respected or desired. Think about this carefully. The more effort someone has to put in to earn something, the more they value it. If a woman doesn't have to put in any effort to keep you, if she knows you'll always be there, no matter what she does, she won't feel a deep need to fight for you. She won't have to chase you because there's no fear of losing you. This is where scarcity comes into play. By making yourself scarce, you create a psychological tension that sparks desire. During the no contact phase, scarcity happens naturally because you've removed yourself from her life completely. At first, she might feel relieved. She might even think she has total control over the situation because she was the one who pulled away or ended things. But as the days turn into weeks, something shifts. The complete absence of your attention starts to change the dynamic. She begins to notice that your texts aren't coming in. Your name isn't popping up on her phone. You're no longer viewing her stories, liking her photos, or checking in to see how she's doing. That void of attention creates scarcity. It's like when someone stops supplying a product that people took for granted. Suddenly, everyone wants it back, and they're willing to pay more for it than ever before. By disappearing, you've made your attention a limited resource. And when something is limited, it becomes valuable. Here's where most men go wrong. They break the scarcity too soon. Maybe she posts a picture and he can't resist liking it. Maybe she sends a simple, "Hey, how are you?" text, and he immediately replies with a long message, happy that she finally reached out. By doing this, he instantly removes the mystery and the value he had built during no contact. The key to maintaining scarcity is to stay disciplined even when she starts showing small signs of interest. Scarcity doesn't mean you play hard to get in a fake, manipulative way. It means you genuinely create a life so full, so rich, and so exciting that you don't have time to constantly be available to her. You're not sitting by the phone waiting for her to text. You're out living, growing, building, and becoming a better man every single day. This natural scarcity makes her realize that your time and energy are precious. When she sees that you're not chasing her, not begging for her attention, and not sitting around heartbroken and stagnant, she begins to feel a sense of loss. She remembers the days when she had your complete focus and access to you. And now that she doesn't, she starts craving it. Women are deeply attracted to men who seem to have options and purpose. When you're scarce, It suggests that you're a man with value, a man other people want, a man whose life is full and meaningful. This is why some women chase men who seem indifferent or even slightly out of reach. It's not that they enjoy being mistreated. It's that the scarcity of that man's attention makes them feel like winning his heart would mean winning something rare and special. Taps into a primal instinct to compete for what's valuable. Here's the subtle but crucial point: scarcity works only when it's authentic. You can't just ignore her texts while secretly sitting at home with nothing going on. That's not scarcity. That's pretending. Real scarcity comes from building a life that naturally pulls your focus away from her. Your career, your health, your passions, your friends, your mission. These things should fill your days so fully that she has to earn her place in your world. As she starts to feel this shift, she will likely test you. She might send small messages or post things on social media to get your attention. These are breadcrumbs, ways to check if you're still available whenever she wants you. If you fall for these traps and immediately respond, she'll know you're still emotionally dependent on her. But if you remain calm, measured, and slightly distant, you reinforce the scarcity and increase her desire to chase. Remember, value is always tied to scarcity. The more abundant something is, the less valuable it becomes. By making yourself scarce in a natural and confident way, you become a prize worth pursuing. This doesn't just make her chase you after no contact. It makes her feel like she must continually earn your attention, even after she's back in your life. That's when the dynamic flips. You stop being the one seeking validation and become the man whose presence is limited, precious, and deeply desired. And when she realizes that your love and attention are not guaranteed, she'll do whatever it takes to win it back and keep it. When the no contact phase has done its work and you've given her time and space to miss you, the next step isn't to suddenly reappear and flood her with attention. That would destroy all the progress you've made. Instead, you must re-enter her world slowly and strategically, using subtle signals that reignite her curiosity without making you seem desperate or needy. This phase is delicate because it's where many men make critical mistakes. They either rush back in too aggressively, overwhelming her, or they remain so distant that she eventually moves on completely. The goal here is balance, to show subtle signs of progress that make her want to chase you. To understand why this works, you have to think about how attraction builds in the human mind. Attraction doesn't grow from logic or long speeches about how much you care. It grows from emotions, specifically curiosity, excitement, and a little bit of uncertainty. If she feels like she knows exactly where she stands with you, there's no emotional tension to pull her toward you. But when there's just enough mystery to keep her guessing, she becomes more invested. Your first step is to reappear subtly, not directly. This doesn't mean sending her a message right away. It means showing small, indirect signs that you're alive, thriving, and doing well without her. Social media is one of the most powerful tools for this, but only if used correctly. Post photos of yourself doing meaningful things, traveling, spending time with friends, working on your goals, or exploring new experiences. These updates should hint at growth and happiness, not be aimed at provoking jealousy. For example, if she sees a picture of you out with friends, smiling and having a great time, a seed is planted in her mind. Has doing fine without me, maybe even better. That thought alone creates a subtle tension. It makes her wonder if she misjudged you, if she underestimated your value, and if she's at risk of losing you to someone else. The key here is subtlety. If you overdo it by constantly posting or obviously trying to make her jealous, she'll see through it, and it will have the opposite effect. Once you've established a presence through indirect signals, you can begin to test the waters with minimal direct contact. This isn't about pouring your heart out or asking to meet up right away. It's about dropping a simple, low-pressure message that doesn't demand a response. Something as light as I saw something today that reminded me of you, or hope you're doing well, can work. The tone should be casual and confident, as though you're reaching out from a place of genuine care, not desperation. When she responds, pay attention to her energy. If she replies quickly and seems engaged, that's a good sign. If her responses are short or delayed, don't overanalyze or push harder. Simply match her energy and then pull back slightly, maintaining that element of scarcity. The worst thing you can do here is overwhelm her with a flood of texts or calls, which instantly signals that you are just waiting for her to give you a green light. Another subtle signal of progress is in-person encounters, but only if they happen naturally. If you share mutual friends or frequent the same places, let her see you unexpectedly and make sure you look your best. A brief, confident interaction can speak volumes. Smile, be warm. Keep the conversation light. Don't bring up the relationship or pressure her in any way. Leave her thinking, whoa, he seems different. He seems happy. That lingering thought is far more powerful than any speech you could give. You must also show, not tell, through your lifestyle. Actions always speak louder than words. If you say you've been focusing on yourself, but you look the same, act the same, and haven't grown in any visible way, your words mean nothing. But if she sees that you've been hitting the gym, improving your style, excelling in your career, and expanding your social circle, she'll notice and she'll respect you for it. This phase is also about emotional control. When she starts showing interest again, it can be tempting to jump right back into old patterns. Maybe she texts you late at night, or she hints at meeting up. It's crucial that you stay calm and grounded. Don't rush to meet her on her terms every time. Instead, create a rhythm where sometimes you're available and sometimes you're not. This subtle push and pull dynamic keeps her chasing you rather than the other way around. Finally, understand that subtle signals work because they invite her to participate in the chase. If you do all the work for her, she'll never feel invested. By giving her small breadcrumbs to follow, a confident social media update here, a casual text there, a brief yet meaningful interaction in person, you create a story in her mind. In that story, she's the one choosing to move closer to you, step by step. When done correctly, this approach builds momentum. It shifts the energy from her feeling like she has complete control to her feeling like she might lose something valuable. She begins to wonder, what if he's moving on? What if someone else gets him first? And that's when she starts to act, reaching out more, investing more, and ultimately chasing you, not because you manipulated her, but because you skillfully created the space for her natural attraction to grow. When a relationship falls apart or begins to lose its spark, one of the most common patterns you'll see is a shift in the balance of power, and usually it shifts in favor of the person who seems least invested. In most cases, it's the man who ends up chasing, begging, or trying to prove himself, while the woman steps back and evaluates her options. This is not because she's inherently cold or manipulative, but because human nature responds to value and scarcity. The one who seems harder to get automatically appears more desirable, while the one who is constantly available begins to feel like an afterthought. If you want to make her chase you after no contact, you must flip this dynamic completely, from you being the one who chases to her being the one who actively pursues you. This isn't about playing games or trying to control her. It's about emotional control and learning how to position yourself as a man of value. Women are naturally drawn to men who display leadership, confidence, and independence. When you appear desperate or overly eager, you send the message that she's your entire world, which ironically makes her lose interest. When you center your life around her, you're essentially handing over all the power. And once she feels like she has full control, the chase dies. The no contact period is the first step in reclaiming that power. It's like hitting the reset button. By removing yourself completely, You create space for her to feel your absence and start questioning her own feelings. But no contact alone isn't enough. The true power shift happens in how you carry yourself when the silence ends. First, you must stop seeing her as the prize. When you treat a woman like the ultimate goal, you automatically put her on a pedestal. This creates a one-sided dynamic where you're always trying to impress her, please her, and earn her affection, while she sits back and evaluates whether or not you're worthy. Instead, you must become the prize. This means recognizing your worth and making her see that being with you is a privilege, not a guarantee. To do this, focus on independence and purpose. A man with a clear mission in life naturally exudes strength and value. When you have goals that extend beyond the relationship, whether in your career, health, finances, or personal growth, you signal to her that you are not dependent on her for happiness. Women are incredibly drawn to men who are self-sufficient and ambitious because it shows stability and leadership. Now, let's talk about how this looks in action. When she reaches out to you after no contact, you don't drop everything to reply immediately. You respond calmly, politely, but without urgency. If she suggests meeting up, you don't agree at the first opportunity unless it genuinely fits into your schedule. This isn't about being rude or playing games. It's about demonstrating that you have a life. For example, imagine she texts you on a Friday night asking if you want to hang out. Instead of saying, yes, absolutely, I'll be right there, you might respond with, I'd like to, but I already have plans tonight. How about Sunday afternoon instead? That simple interaction shows her that you're not waiting around for her, and it subtly positions you as someone she has to work to fit into her life. Another crucial part of shifting the dynamic is maintaining emotional stability. Women are deeply influenced by a man's ability to remain calm under pressure. If she tests you by being distant, cold, or even slightly provocative, and you react with anger, jealousy, or desperation, you've handed the power right back to her. But if you remain grounded and unshaken, she begins to see you as someone who cannot be easily manipulated. Think of it like this. Imagine a man standing firm while the storm rages around him. No matter how wild the winds get, he doesn't move. That's the kind of presence you want to embody. When she sees that her words or actions can't shake you, she starts to respect and admire you. And respect is a foundational element of lasting attraction. This new dynamic also involves limiting your availability. When she knows she has unrestricted access to you, when you answer every call, text back instantly, and are always ready to meet up, there's no challenge for her. Instead, your time should be treated as something valuable and limited. Not in a fake, manipulative way, but in a natural way that reflects the fact that you have a fulfilling life outside of her. At the same time, you must reward her efforts when she does make moves toward you. If she initiates contact, invests in the interaction, or shows genuine interest, acknowledge it warmly. This balance of being slightly out of reach while still appreciating her efforts creates a push-pull dynamic that keeps her chasing without feeling like you're playing games. Over time, as she realizes that she can no longer take your attention for granted, the entire relationship dynamic begins to shift. She starts investing more energy, initiating conversations, and even competing for your time. And here's the beauty of it. She won't just be doing it because she misses you, but because she respects you as a man who knows his value. By standing firm, living with purpose, and maintaining emotional control, you show her that you're not just another man chasing her approval. You're a man who can walk away if his standards aren't met, and that makes you infinitely more desirable. When the power dynamic flips like this, she begins to see you as someone worth pursuing. At that point, the chase is no longer something you're forcing. It's something she chooses to do because she genuinely feels you are worth it. One of the biggest mistakes men make after successfully using no contact and sparking a woman's desire again is assuming that the work is done the moment she comes back. They breathe a sigh of relief, thinking, finally, she's here. I've won. But here's the harsh truth. Getting her back is only half the battle. The real challenge is keeping her chasing you, maintaining her respect, and building a dynamic where the relationship grows instead of falling into the same old destructive patterns. When she first returns, her emotions are high. She's excited, curious, and even a little nervous. This is a powerful moment, but it's also fragile. If you immediately slip back into your old behavior, being overly available, seeking her validation, or neglecting your purpose, she will quickly lose the very attraction that brought her back. That's why you must maintain momentum by continuing to embody the qualities that made her want to chase you in the first place. The first step to maintaining momentum is to stay consistent with your growth. During the no contact phase, you spent time working on yourself, improving your fitness, strengthening your mindset, building your career, and expanding your social life. Those improvements are what made you magnetic and caused her to see you differently. But many men, once they get the girl back, stop doing those things. They get comfortable and slowly slip back into old habits. This sends a dangerous message that the version of you she chased was just temporary, a facade to win her back. Once she senses that you've stopped progressing, her respect begins to fade. She will subconsciously start to pull away again. To prevent this, you must continue living with the same focus and purpose you had during no contact. Growth must become a lifestyle, not a phase. Next, focus on emotional leadership. This doesn't mean controlling her or the relationship in a forceful way. It means being the steady, grounded presence she can rely on. When she has an emotional outburst, when she's moody, or when challenges arise, you don't get swept up in the chaos. You remain calm, collected, and rational. Emotional leadership builds trust. It tells her, I can depend on him. He doesn't fall apart when things get hard. This is incredibly attractive to women because it makes them feel safe and secure in your presence. On the other hand, if you become reactive, jealous, or overly dramatic, she will start questioning whether she made the right choice in coming back. You also need to maintain the push and pull dynamic that keeps desire alive. In the early stages, scarcity and mystery were your greatest allies. Now that you're back in regular contact, you must not swing to the opposite extreme by becoming overly available. She should never feel like she has 100% access to your time, attention, and energy. This doesn't mean playing childish games like ignoring her texts on purpose. It simply means having a full, rich life outside of the relationship. Your friends, your hobbies, your work, and your personal goals should remain active priorities. When she sees that you have a fulfilling life that doesn't revolve around her, she'll continue to feel the healthy tension that makes her want to keep earning your time. Another vital element is setting and enforcing boundaries. The reason many men lose a woman's respect after getting her back is that they become fearful of upsetting her. They let things slide, disrespectful comments, flackiness, or behavior that crosses their values, because they don't want to risk losing her again. Ironically, this fear-driven approach almost guarantees that she will eventually leave. Women deeply respect men who stand firm in their standards. When you calmly but confidently communicate your boundaries and follow through with actions, she sees you as a strong leader. For example, if she cancels plans last minute without a good reason, instead of lashing out or sulking, you simply say, I understand, but my time is valuable. Let's plan for another day when you're certain you're free. This response shows that you value yourself and won't tolerate being treated as an afterthought. You must also be mindful of how you communicate your appreciation when she makes an effort, whether it's showing affection, supporting your goals, or being consistent in the relationship. Reward her with genuine gratitude. A simple compliment, a warm smile, or a heartfelt thank you reinforces her positive behavior. This creates a cycle where she naturally wants to continue investing in you and the relationship. However, Be careful not to overpraise or overvalidate her. If you shower her with constant attention, you risk flipping the dynamic back to her being the prize. Instead, balance your appreciation with moments of challenge. Sometimes you should be slightly hard to impress. This keeps her motivated to keep showing up for you. Finally, always keep a vision for the future. Stagnation kills relationships. The chase never truly ends when there's always something new to build together, whether it's traveling to new places, setting shared goals, or creating experiences that deepen your bond. When she feels like being with you is part of an exciting journey, her desire to stay and chase naturally remains strong. Maintaining momentum is about embodying consistency, confidence, and purpose. It's about never letting yourself slip back into the needy, validation-seeking version of you that caused her to pull away in the first place. When you live in a way that reflects true self-respect, she will continuously feel the same pull toward you that she felt during no contact, not because you're forcing her to chase, but because you've become the kind of man she never wants to stop chasing.